Kapeash?
Good night, Kapeash. So, I'm proud of black folks. I think that's little credibility I might as well give them that they do deserve. I am proud of the black community. Thing that I have been saying that I believe that I have starting to see in my community has actually been truthfully taking place. Starting hardcore with this Carmelo Anthony case. I'm I'm saddened for the loss, but I'm happy for the results because a tough conversation has broken through and a lot of more positive attitude has came out of end result. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm gonna kick my show off like that, and I don't know. We bring it up later, whatever, whatever. For everybody that's driving your cars, I don't want to hear shit. The gas prices are 100% dropping at, I think, was 6 cents a barrel. Yes, it has been dropping in the last 2 weeks. And after yesterday's announcement, you guarantee that those gas prices are going to be dropping. And I can honestly say I have been seeing gas prices drop because a week ago today, gas prices was 5.81. Right now, if I go look at gas prices, which I did before I came home, they are 5.46. So gas prices are dropping. Look at my boy want a fact check.
No, I know that the gas prices got lower. I filled in my gas tank today. Uh, I don't know why
Cost
though,
you what, maybe five
because
dollars, maybe what you $5 difference, something like that, maybe.
uh, I just don't know if the Hormuz Strait is open.
It's
Iran and U.S. reach a tentative deal to end the war and open the Strait of Hormuz, but changes remain. So nothing has happened yet. It sounds like they're saying that they came to a deal. I have to look more into it.
Trump announced on his True Social they came to a deal, and the actual news conference is supposed to be June 19th. Is when the conference is technically supposed to take place, where we'll be able to see it happen.
True Social still open? I ain't know that was still a thing.
Yeah,
I just
I feel
found out
like I'm
my
the only person in the world with the True Social account.
I got one.
I'm on there.
You got one?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a True
Oh,
Social.
I didn't know. I didn't know True Social was popping like that. I thought I was the only one with it.
I got a True Social, man. You gonna have to support my boy Donnie, man. The orange guy.
Some black dude just bought up MySpace. I just see a report yesterday. So MySpace is owned by a black person. He changed the name to something. And
Do you know what MySpace is? No, for real.
It's like MySpace is like before Facebook, right?
Yeah, it was the popping thing before Facebook, man. It was lit. It's my lit, bro.
Was MySpace the one where you could have music on your profile?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what it is, yeah.
MySpace was definitely book face back page before all that stuff was hit mainstream media. I would say it like that. To buy it nowadays and try to revive it, we got to do something. You don't necessarily have to do something unique, but you know, if you can get a couple celebrities over there on the MySpace page and stuff like that, people will come. But to be honest with you, with everything coming out, you better at least put a big AI presence on the app for you to do some easy access, fact checking.
I think a lot of people would just like freedom of speech. You know how if you're on Facebook, you can't say certain things.
I see now. I'm not having that problem on Bookface no more. I can talk freely and speak
Yeah,
freely,
you know
and
what you're right. But like a couple years ago, we it was a real bad. Like I used to just put crazy shit, crazy stuff. You know.
now I do admit I will say this: things that CEO posts on there um, falls a slippery slope under damn near can get you fired from your job. Slippery slope.
Probably did.
I mean, if somebody came to you like, "Hey, we gotta let you go because something you posted," you wouldn't be too alarmed. You probably like, "Okay, accept it and go on about your business." Me personally, if I ever got in trouble for my podcast at my job, I'm getting at people's necks because I really don't point out nothing that happens at my job really on my podcast. That's one thing I try to do, stay as far from away. Now I hint at things that may happen in my job, but I jokingly would announce. I'm not trying to discredit a person. Good morning.
What's going
Hey,
on,
good
Johnny?
morning. Good
What's
morning.
up?
What's going
What's
on?
up? What's up, man?
Not much. How you, man?
I'm all good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing all
Uh
right. Just saw Obsession today.
Johnny, thank you for bringing a subscriber with you. I appreciate it.
I brought a subscriber with me. What you mean?
So, hey, as soon as you hopped up there, somebody subscribed. So I'm gonna blame it they came with you.
Oh Lord. Hey,
That-
I'll give God the glory there. God, amen.
Amen. We just randomly talking about things that uh technically that's been hitting the wave, and I feel it from. I was just saying I'm thankful for my community and things that are coming forth.
Yes.
Uh, what's been on your news feed? What is on your news feed? We need a
Um,
top. That's another thing they need to do. That's what we're talking about. MySpace and something that they should do that'll probably bring people. A nice little top 10 list would be nice. What is trending?
what's trending? That's a good question. True. I'm not 100% sure because I don't really follow the trends. But I did. I think the closest thing that I remember talking about, again, we're gonna feel like we go in circles with these conversations. But this the thing that I had sent you uh about, I guess there was a dude that made a video, and he was talking about how there was this he was saying it was a black guy that had slaves, I think in Virginia.
Ah, so
Yeah.
I sent him a video that this guy takes out the feeling and brings you more factual about the history and stuff like that. A lot of people look at slaves, and it's the key thing that we have been actually talking about is slaves. And this document is talking about the actual first document on slave, and you will just be wonderfully surprised of what color his skin was.
He was a black. He was a black man.
That
A black man owned slave. That's common knowledge. I mean,
it's not coming out.
you're right. For me, it's common knowledge because I'd like to do research before I talk about things. You know, but I guess
You cannot tell a Black Panther mindset person that, hey, this started with your color and catching a runaway slave and taking him to court. Boy, you is not telling a black person that believes in we are African descended. No, it's not believing that. Just like I try to explain to people and it's yet not sticking in black people's head that the government did not run slavery.
Now that statement I disagree with. That statement I disagree with.
I don't think the government did until they made it to until they made it like a corporation. That's what Abraham Lincoln did, right?
Well,
You might as well say that the government didn't get into slavery as a business like that until gerrymandering came in. If you want to, if that's the case, I would agree with some crazy whack analysis like that all day long. That makes more sense
so
to
I gotta
me.
ask the question: who was a part of the slave trade then? How did slaves get here on boats by the dozens of millions? How did they get here? I'm
African coast, kings of leaders, and the Caucasian European caucus movement.
again, it's not necessarily documented that African. I mean, some people say that Africans are the descendants of America. I've seen, things like that. And if you want to run with that, process of information, cool. But
Is
at the
it
end of the day,
documented over there? Is it
huh?
documented? Is it documented over there in Africa that they sold their people, some of their people, other tribes? Yes.
Yes, I'm not negating that. Now we're
Okay.
talking about the slave. Now we're talking about the slave trade. They traded them to who? People that were in America, right? The government, did they allow it? Yes. So if they
N-
allowed it, you can technically say they were a part of it.
Technically, no, because America
No.
wasn't
Wow.
established then. This was before America was established.
Can I just say that I don't believe in the slave trade story as they told us? To me, it's just not logical for them to go to Africa and take 12 million motherfuckers on a boat overseas, bring them all the way to America. I think black people was already in America. I think they're the true Indians of America. That's just what I believe. I don't have no facts, no stats, no numbers like Doc, no stats.
Were there people of your descendant over here in America? Yes, on this land. Yes, yes, yes.
I
That's
can't say that factually.
boy.
I can
I think
only I can
See,
only
this
go
is
off
where
of
like I don't
go
think
ahead.
common sense be kicking in.
I,
Like that's common sense. Were we all over the world? Yes, there were people all over the world.
yeah. And I think that play a role. What I believe in is why they can't give people reparations, because if they do that, they would have to trace the lineage back, and it won't go nowhere. And then
Well,
we're
no,
really
the reason I think the reason why they don't want to give reparations, and even America was a part of this conversation, is they don't want to deem it as an evil act. They just want to deem it as it was acceptable for that time. That's
They
the
have
that's
deemed it as an evil act.
I
No,
They
they
have said
didn't.
it multiple
No, they
times.
didn't.
so
They
you don't
didn't.
So
think
America has not deemed it as an evil act. When it was
so you
brought
don't
up a couple, I think it was like a month ago or something. I guess they
so you don't
voted
think
on it. All the nations voted on it, and America and somebody else was the only two that didn't, raise their hand because they said that it was acceptable at that time.
so you don't think they want to give niggas money like here, man, here, shut them up real quick just to
no,
No, I don't. I really
they
don't.
already
No,
did that.
no,
That's
they
the
no, they
problem
don't want
is
to
they
do that.
already did it. Black people's not going to accept it. It's not logical, making sense that yes, we gave a bunch of black people land. When we freed y'all, we gave y'all land. We gave y'all opportunity. Is is you really got to go back and look at what the hell y'all did? Half people stayed, some people fled it. Like he keeps saying, if you had a woman that was abused and once she get away from that abuser, do she think that she getting abused? Yes. So once slave was free, were there people still thinking they were slave? Yes. I don't think it's like that's not hard to concept. So did a bunch of black people miss out on the opportunity to get their land and stuff that they was owed? Yeah. Why? Because they were stuck thinking they were still in slavery.
Now, Capiche, let me say something. That makes logical sense. Yes.
Yeah, that makes
That I
sense.
mean, you're putting two and two together. I get that. Now let me ask you this question. Now, do you think it makes sense to give that they gave people land? We talking about people that they did not want to be around, that they did not want to coexist with, that they basically despised because they went through a whole era of having to gain rights in America and this, that, and the third. So if they were free, they would have had access to all the same rights as everybody else, and they would have not had to go through processes of gaining citizenship, of just being a citizen. They wouldn't have had to, take tests to vote, all of these things. So no, it doesn't make sense for them to want to do that. No, it doesn't.
What you think, Money?
I don't know. I feel like this is a retarded conversation. I only feel that it's retarded not because anyone's saying bad points. I don't feel like getting into it, but because this conversation is redundant, right? But you showed me and Burn a video. Uh, I would like Burn to pull up that video.
That I would like that. Yeah.
What video you talking about? The video I sent or the video Johnny sent?
I was talking about the one that you sent, but if Johnny sent one, we could also watch that.
No, Capiche sent me a video. Capiche sent me a video. I think
This,
this
Yeah.
this morning, this morning or something, or last night, something like that.
hold on, it's loading. The one that Nick sent, I'm gonna go to that one first.
I don't even think I agree with the video. I was just interested to see somebody say it.
It's crazy that it's not loading. That's crazy. You seen that, right?
Yeah.
So
They trying to hide the
str-
truth.
strangely, his video is not working at all. I went to another video, it played through, just like
Try to play it now, see, because the line stopped moving.
it's still moving. Why don't please tell me I don't have better vision than you?
Man, look.
Yeah, I got better vision than you. Okay. So at the moment, I'm gonna have to say that video's a no go because it won't play.
Here, let's see if you guys could hear it through my microphone because really we just need the audio. Hold on. Okay, let me know if you guys could hear it.
Person that has ever walked these United States of America. The most violent, the most oppressive, the most sinister, insidious people that have ever walked this earth, and especially here in these Americas, these United States of America, have been Caucasian men that simultaneously convince you it's everybody else. The most dangerous.
So, essentially saying that the most dangerous, violent, bloodthirsty people, I guess, in the world are white people. Thoughts on that?
I don't. For me, like I said, me personally, I don't think so. There's black serial killers, there's white serial killers. You know, at the end of the day, I don't. For me personally, I don't look at race isn't a barrier for me. No matter no matter the circumstances or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just built a little different, but I don't look at it like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that some people don't either. So
I laugh at stuff like that when you look at what the Jews went through. Just I go look at that. Just that's for an example. Yeah,
Have you thought that the
America.
Jews actually deserved it?
I'm staying out of that. But I will say that have we have done some horrible things as America. You want to point at some white people? Sure. We bombed the whole country. Sure. Okay. That was I think that was pretty horrible. If the fight need to go longer, then you know what I'm saying, maybe you should have found a better way. But you got the job done. It was bad. Okay? Bad. All right. But when it comes to just looking here, sinisterly here in America, and trying to point our finger at a bunch of people. And I think that's where that line of ignorance comes in, is when you say a bunch, them. You know what I'm saying? That's where the ignorance, like, yeah, you really can't say that. That's where no, that statement is falsely wrong. When you're looking at situations that, damn, people in America died for my freedom, white and black and Asian. You know, that is a fact. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how anybody look at the playground, you can't ignore that circumstances that actually factually happened. Some white guy said, damn, these niggas must be free just like me. I'm dead. He died for my freedom. I'm highly thankful for that white person that did that. And I'm highly thankful for the Buffalo Soldiers, you know what I'm saying, for people that know the history. And I'm thankful for all of them that fought for my freedom too. You see what I'm, it's like, what part of the sword do you want to die on? You want to die on the black side of the sword, or you want to die on the white side of the sword? But fuck it, me, I want to die in the middle.
Who sent that video? Because I know that guy, he the one who be trying to debunk Black history, right?
He don't debunk. That's a false statement. What he does is put the facts in light and take the feelings out of it. And that's what's wrong with black people today. We want to march with our feelings, but what are the facts?
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes, sir.
Did you guys see that the U.S. voted that the slave? Where Capiche go?
It's just me and you.
Oh,
We can
but
hear
did you
you. Keep
see?
on.
Did you see that the U.S. voted that the slave trade was not the most gruesome? Was not a criminal act, or not necessarily? Well, yeah. Did you guys see that
Okay. Once
they were
again,
the? Did you?
Johnny.
I'm just saying that. Did you see
Yes,
it?
I can. Yes, I seen that. But do
What
you?
do you
Can
think
you?
about it?
I have to be realistic. Is slave legal today in other countries? Listen to the word I specifically asked. Is slavery legal in other countries today, right now, as we speak? Yes or no? And if you ask me and you want the truth, yes. Slavery goes on today legally in other countries. Egypt, that's northern part of Africa.
Do
So
you
hey,
think that's okay though? I'm asking, like, do you think that's
is it
okay?
okay? It's gotta be. Slavery been around since the beginning of Bible. So it's gotta be okay. That's how men understood the trade values of their land, their people, and how to build. I'm not gonna sit on this land and sit on this property and be worth something and can't do nothing with my people. You owe me a cow. Okay, you can't produce a cow, so you work on my land till you can pay off the cow. All right, this man over here on the other land wants farmers. Let me look on my land and see, do I have any good farmers? Johnny, you're one of my best farmers. Go with this man and take your freedom and go on his land and then teach him how to farm. Well, damn, if that wasn't you was a slave, I just sold you.
Well, do you know? This is what we're talking about. So, you're talking about a worker right now. You're not talking about Okay, what I'm talking about is a transatlantic slave trade, right?
Hold on. Let me try explaining it better. What
Go
he's
ahead.
describing is still slavery. What Byrne is describing is still slavery because there's an ownership, like legal ownership of a person. That's considered slavery. And what you're about to bring up is there's a difference in slavery between what America was doing and how America or how slavery has commonly been performed throughout the world. So like with American slavery or like African slavery, I guess, right? It's like we own you and for life and we own your children and you are worth as much as cattle, which is different from like slavery in the biblical days where slavery was like, okay, you owe what he described, you owe me a cow, so I own you until you could pay back for that cow, right?
I have a question.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I have a
It's,
question.
Go ahead.
Has anybody ever been a slave that's sitting here in this current time frame? Of course,
I'm
he
a
has.
I'm gonna be
I'm a
honest.
sl-
I think. I mean, it depends on like how do we describe a slave? Like when we go back to African slaves or whatever.
No,
It's
American slave.
American slaves. They work for what? Food, shelter, and water. Is that what they were slaving for? Is that what made them a slave?
Oh my goodness.
That's a truthful.
I mean, you could. I mean, if you want to technically say this is modern day slavery, you can. You know, because at the end
that's
of
a
the
joke I
day,
was trying to make.
yeah, amen. Because if you have to work for food,
Any
shelter,
essential?
water,
Yeah,
and
and
those
those
things
are
aren't given to you, yeah, you basically have to enter into you know somebody's corporation, work for them in order to
I
pay
think
for
that
you.
Contemplate.
it's a
So
Stop.
semantic
technically, you are.
difference,
See,
though.
But go
see,
ahead.
there's a word, and this is why I keep saying I need a highlighter. It's a word that y'all keep using, and y'all be like, "Well, if I need to go in to do this, okay, so let's highlight the word need. If you need, so let's take the word need out of it. All right, take the word need out of the equation. If you don't need to do that, can you still survive here in America?
No, not no, no. Because even if you go to the government system, they're gonna force you to apply for jobs in order for you to get cash benefits. You need to be
When
actively
you say
seeking
the
for a
word
job. So
force,
so no, you can't.
so when you say force, that means you feel pressured to do something, or they're putting, like an example, a gun to your head and say you better go fill out this application, or else.
Well,
It's
I
a
was go ahead, go ahead.
the difference is kind of just semantics, where what we're talking about is the difference between slavery and working is the ownership. Technically, a company doesn't own a person, but functionally, they kind of do, right? You rely on that job, and if you don't have that job, then you don't have a house. Semantically, it kind of, or non semantically, like functionally, it's kind of the same thing as slavery, just with a little bit of freedom sprinkled in there, kind of.
Okay, cool. So, are there startup businesses today more than there probably was back in the day?
Yes.
So, hell, if you don't want to
Startups
work,
today than back in the day?
yeah, you could probably start you a small business way quicker now
Absolutely.
than, hell, 40 years ago.
Is that true?
Very much true. Very, very much true.
But what people don't know is in
Very
order
much
to
true.
start a business, you have to have money. In order to have a successful business, you have to spend money to make money.
I think what Capiche is saying, in some areas, yes, yes, in some areas, you can, like up here, like we got a lot of programs in New York, right? So like, there's a place called Rochester Works where well, I'm not sure of the process, but yes, you're putting on that orange shirt. I'm not sure of the process, but if you want to start a small business, or whatever you want to do, I think they do help with that. Like if you're a small business owner and you're not bringing in revenue, I believe you can still apply for aid
But check this
because
out.
technically you're actively still seeking a job.
What is so amazing, what is so beautiful about what I'm hearing from y'all is the fact is I don't want to work because the job is not paying me. The white man got his foot on my neck. I can quit and start a business that's productive to my neighborhood, that's actually worth something and do something that's positive. And then once I get a net growth, I start buying workers. Hey, come work for me. Then guess what? Then they can do the same complaining about what y'all complain about because yet again you're doing something positive. Now you're in a different bracket. So like, yes, sir.
Okay. You want to start a business? I'm going to let you choose the business. Choose an industry that you want to get into.
Hell, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, colognes and perfumes.
Okay. So, what are your competitors when you get into colognes and perfumes?
My competitors are absolutely nobody. Why? Because I'm in a field where nobody sells perfumes, colognes, and stuff. I'm also around a bunch of people who like smelling good when they come to work. Huh. Hmm. Smell this. That smells good. How much is that? 25, $30. Whatever I wanted to sell them to. Capiche is selling perfume and cologne. Capiche is selling perfume and cologne. What
Okay, hold on, Capiche.
Huh?
So I had a point with the little thought experiment that I was doing.
Okay, come
So
on. I'm
when
sorry. I went too far. I'm sorry.
I had you say any industry that you wanted to get into, you said colognes and perfumes, and the thing that I was trying to describe is, okay, and who's your competitor, right? And you went into a different realm where you don't have any competitors, but in reality you do have competitors. You have Walmart, you have fucking JC Penney, you got a lot of competitors when you get into the cologne industry. In
That's
reality,
okay.
who owns all of these things? They're all big businesses with monopolies over these industries. Now, I
Okay.
had thrown out, or I had let you choose anything you wanted. You said colognes. You could have said toilet paper. You could have said hamburgers. The truth is, if you get into any industry, you're always going to have a monopolistic competitor, and that's what makes it hard breaking into business nowadays. Me personally, I want to start a business. I was actually just at the end of the show, I was planning on announcing, like, hey, I'm going to get into the clothing industry. Yeah, I know I got to work hard on it because it's going to be really hard getting into the clothing industry when I eventually get it started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because who are my competitors? Literally fucking everyone on earth, right? Everyone on
Mm-hmm.
earth is in the clothing industry. And I'm gonna be real. I don't think that I'll be able to do it. I'm giving it a try because I got to make money somehow, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
all that I'm trying to highlight is that starting up businesses is not really that easy. Uh,
It's not that hard either. I've watched several people do it. You just have to have the money to invest in yourself and the people to buy your product.
Ooh,
It's really not that
Part of
ooh,
it is also advertisement, right?
ooh. Average.
A
right.
big part of it is
Okay, and so yet
advertisement.
again, and this is why I say startup businesses. Okay, okay. So you saying let's go back to my cologne, and I got all these competitions,
Mhm.
right? You would think that me starting this business, like my goal must be a prestige amount of money, right? You probably thinking maybe what 10, 20 grand. That's what I'm trying to make out of seven cologne. I'm just starting off, right? And that's why I no. You be realistic of starting off your business of things, your baby steps. What are a few things that you want to make sure you buy the cologne or whatever, perfume, whatever, make sure people like whatever it is, get it for a reasonable price, decent amount of price to where you can bottle it up and sell it. Do the baby steps. At that boring ass job that we trying to quit, let's get the sales. Go get the money, like they say. Quit worrying about the competition and JC Penney's and Walmart and Targets and that hooker and that slut. Fuck them. When you do your
Well,
clothes, hold on, let me finish. Because when you start your clothes, we all got clothes. I got shirts. Fuck them. Because you know why?
it's
When you got something in a lane that nobody else have, Jason CEO or racism, you have something that don't nobody have. The balls to come on her and put CEO or racism. A uniqueness, a itch. When you find that, scratch the shit out of it. But when you scratch the shit out of it, multiply.
you're right. But I was gonna bring up something. Uh, there's a lot of small towns that don't allow Walmart to be in their uh in their towns because they want to protect their small businesses within that town because Walmart is a monopolistic company. You put a Walmart there, you destroy a clothing company, you destroy a tire shop, you destroy a tech shop, you destroy a grocery store, you destroy
You
a toy
destroy
store.
hospitality that a town what creates a town. When you want to create and build something like that, small enough where you got 10, 20,000 people where everybody know your name, you put a Walmart there, they're not coming to Larry's and Curly's and Mo. No, they're going to Walmart. Shut the fuck up. They got a self-checkout line. It makes common sense. I get that. But when you go back to the startup and we just starting, the best thing that a person should do when it comes to a startup is like, look at here, if you can pay your rent selling something, hey, that's a positive. It may not be the biggest thing we start over there. Then when you get something like I done touched a lot of little things in my life for as selling things. And there are things that I was great. There's some things that I made promises to my mother that I would never get back in. Thank God I made those promises because yet again, I have a very slick mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? I shit, hell, I'm not going into details, but hey, if you can talk, you got to get the gab. They definitely tell you to go sell, get into sales, get into marketing, get into learning economics. That's why I'm so into it now because I wish somebody would have told me this at a young age. People told me, but not know how to reach the youth. That's the problem. Quit being scared. Go bump your knee. Go twist your ankle. Go slang whatever the fuck you want to slang to make a dollar. This is America. The reason why we even went through stop doing this, stop doing that, stop all this racism stuff is so we can have the opportunities for us black people and white people and Asian, whoever the hell wants to come here to do whatever the hell they want to. That's why most people come here and say, you know what, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna put sweat, tears into um gas stations, laundromats, and things of that sort. That's why I want to work so hard on showing people doing small businesses in the AI tech thing every Tuesday. Check me out at 3 o'clock Pacific. You know what I'm saying? I want to break stuff down like that so I can show y'all small businesses and startups. Like we can start
You know
whatever.
what?
Whatever.
How about we get into that conversation? So, what do you mean by AI helping small businesses?
What I mean by that is like everybody's looking at AI as what we can see, what we can do, and what we can create. But guess what? You're also gonna need people to deliver you those chips. You're gonna need people to keep those office buildings clean. You're gonna need people to know little small aspects of behind the scenes to keep AI running. Those big nerdy people is not gonna want to be in those buildings, running those programs, doing those little things, those small tasks, those big tasks, desks, chairs. We forget about the little itty bitty things that people are like, oh my God, we're gonna run out of business. Like, shit, I didn't see AI screwing the light bulb and put this whole building up to even for these AI tech people to even get up in here. We can go be buying land, square bidding, tech only. You know what I'm saying? Techity boys. What you build? I don't give a shit what you building. You know what I'm saying? You doing it here, we tax you. You know what I'm saying? While we tax you, we take the tax money from that. Hey, you know what? We're gonna invest back into whatever you're doing because that's how we get that generational wealth and take risks and have a bunch of failures till we run across that one good one. That's what
With
Naveg
AI?
Ramaswamy did.
That's what
With
who did?
AI?
The dude from New York.
No, Naveg Ramaswamy, who campaigned with Trump, that's running Ohio, who just run Ohio.
So, what's AI doing?
It's a lot. I got a video. I got hidden secret way about. I'm gonna play it on Tuesday a little bit that breaks down just the back road into AI. You don't have to. Everybody don't have to be a content creator when it comes to AI. You don't have to be a person that want to create videos or like what everybody's doing now. Everybody's going in there and paying AI and they create a video and they putting it up and they post it. Somebody is sitting up there hoping to go viral by doing that. Where, hey, there are small things behind doors. The building, these creators that create these chips, you know what I'm saying? They need help. They need
Can,
little
can I
things.
ask you a question?
Go ahead, sir.
So, and this is gonna be off topic, all right?
Go
And
ahead.
I'm just going back a little bit. So, you telling me that out of all the nations and the United Nations, right? That
Uh-huh.
only three of them voted against slavery being the most, well, the pan Atlantic slave trade being the most gruesome act. We only got three nations out of all of them that say it's not. U.S., Argentina, and Israel. The only three that say it's not the most gruesome. Only those three. But everybody else say something
Argentina and
different.
Israel.
So
So
only three said. So only three said that the transatlantic slave trade was not the most gruesome act. So they saying it's something else more gruesome than that.
they saying there's something else that they saying it's either something else or they just saying that it's not. So yes, it has to be something else. But they saying it's not the most
It's
out of
not the most.
out of
Maybe,
all the nations.
maybe
Now we talk about all the nations. We going. I don't know how
it's
many
a
nations
hundred.
is brought up in it, but come on,
Oh,
man.
that's,
You like
that,
numbers, don't you? You like statistics,
That's
right?
why
What does
no,
that tell
let's
you?
go
What does
through. That's why I'm
statistics
gonna
tell
break
you?
it down.
It's
We
funny
finna go
because
to the we finna go to what's called it to see how many how
I know
many nations
Israel only
are there
said
all
that.
around the world.
It's
Thinking through
funny.
the exact count for you. There are generally considered to be 195 countries around the world today. This number includes the 193 member states of the United Nations, plus two permanent observer states, the Holy See, also known as Vatican.
Okay. 196 countries. 193 different fucking nations. And sheesh. Every nation out there technically had a slave. Some history point time the 1500s, the 1400s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. Okay. Israel and America thinks that there's other things out there, hell, that are worse than slavery. Because you
And
know why?
it's
Maybe
Israel,
because
though.
hey, maybe because these countries still understand and not finna bullshit nobody and say, hell, is slavery going on today?
You know, Capiz, as a man that goes with numbers and statistics, this is sad, brother. You telling me logically that everybody else in the world could see that it was something that was gruesome, besides three countries, right? And mainly they don't want to say it is, it's because they would have to give reparations. That's the main reason as to why they don't want to say it.
Well, hold on. That's
You
because
have no facts
Israel.
to back that
But
up.
you
That's
gotta
the sad part about that
the
claim.
only I would say, listen, that whole thing that whole little vote they did, I think is irrelevant because they can say it now that it was the most gruesome thing. But where was they at when the shit was going on?
I mean, that's valid, but we're talking about the vote itself right now,
The
right?
vote is invalid then. 'Cause
I
Sir,
mean, the vote tells you. I mean, I'm just saying this. The
the
vote
vote
tells you how
said,
the rest of the world feels towards African Americans, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. That make me feel a
wow,
little bit comfortable if I go to a
see,
different country now. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel
dog,
like
if
they
you,
would accept the brother. You know what I mean?
The Chinese people were never slaves.
And it's not what they're saying. That's what you're veering off. They're
No,
saying
I'm
that
not.
the
You're not
transatlantic.
being
This is what they're saying. The transatlantic slave trade was the most gruesome act. Right? Not the. They're not saying that. I don't think they're saying this the most, but they're saying it was a gruesome act, and they're saying that it wasn't right. That's what they're voting on. Is was it right or was
no.
it
That's
wrong?
not what you said. You said the
most,
most.
yeah, the most kind of add a little salt to it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, my apologies for saying most. My apologies. But let's get
So
back on
my
track.
argument is like, damn, they said something is closer.
Oh, my apologies. So they said it
Maybe
was.
America's like,
Well,
Yeah.
hold
damn,
on,
we
hold
did
on.
slavery.
I would still agree that it's the most gruesome, long-lasting act in history.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I disagree.
And I was gonna say the only reason Israel is in that fucking boat is because they want to LARP like the Holocaust was the biggest tragedy
Yeah,
in world
exactly,
history.
exactly. That's what Israel gonna say, but I can think of a million things that's worse than slavery. So, I mean, I swear I can, and I
Okay,
just
let's name something then. What can we
man,
name
listen.
that's worse than slavery?
What's go,
Nick is
what's
worse than
going
slavery.
what's going on in Chicago and these urban cities? How is basically genocide amongst our own communities?
Now I gotta
That's
ask
That's
you a
worse than
question.
slavery.
Now I gotta ask you a question,
yes.
bro. Were you ever a slave?
I just asked the same question
That,
earlier.
I know.
yeah.
So were you
And
ever a slave?
nobody answered my question.
I'm asking them.
As
Were you
far as
ever a slave?
as far as I know, no.
Okay. I mean, let me say this. Have you gone through the transatlantic slave trade?
As far as I know, no.
No, you haven't. All right, but your ancestors have. That's probably why you're here. I mind you, I said probably, right? So, with that being said, you can't compare today to then. You can only go off of the facts that was going on back then. So you're telling me, right? You're telling me that was going on in Chicago, the killing, is
Hmm.
worse than being not having any freedom, having to work sun up to sundown, being displaced amongst your family members, maybe being raped, maybe your wife being raped.
Every day to this
Um,
day, why is this such a big? This is what I don't
hold on,
understand.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. So you
Wait. I
tell.
want to hear what she has to say. Hold
Go
on.
ahead, let her. All
What
right, go
does she
ahead.
have to
Women
say?
get raped every day. Women get abused every day. People get go through shit every day. Why is it all like this? Is my thing. I've never owned a slave. My family have never owned slaves. So, and not all white people owned slaves back in the day. So, if we're going to talk about all of the history, because I'm a history person, we have to talk about all of the history. We can't just talk about bits and pieces that work for certain people's agendas. It doesn't work that way.
That's what I kept
Yeah,
trying.
that's why it has nothing to do with white people and black people. We're talking about
Right.
America right now. It has nothing to do with white it has nothing to do with that. So
We're talking about
Her.
that you can't
I
say
mean,
That's
in the same sentence.
invalid.
you're
Something
bringing up race right now, and I'm not.
you can't
Hold
say
on,
that in the
hold
same
on.
sentence when that's all this whole thing is about is a race
No, it's
thing.
not. It's about America and
Wait.
what
No.
America failed to do.
Hold on. I gotta defend Johnny. He's not bringing up Johnny's conversation that he's trying to have has nothing to do with race
You
at
No,
all.
can't
right, but
say
no.
that.
What I think
Yes.
she trying to say is that all the things Johnny just all the things he just mentioned, how people are displaced from their family, you probably was raped, you doing slavery. What he everything he mentioned goes on today.
It still happens to this day. We have
I
It
children.
never said it.
does.
No, 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 no,
Hold
no.
on.
That hold on.
Hold on.
We
Let
have
me.
kids being displaced from their parents. We have all types of stuff. Women get raped every day. We're talking about the same stuff that's still happening to this day.
You're
And
right, but the thing that was so gruesome about the Atlantic slave trade was the injustice of all of it. People having no choice and their lineages being forced into the cycle
who,
of nothing but
how did
misery.
black people get here?
Okay. Who ran that?
Oh,
Who ran the Atlantic trade?
Yeah,
Okay, it
sure. It
has
was
nothing.
Africans.
Y'all
It was
talking about
Africans.
black
No,
people? It got
Wait.
nothing to
Wait.
do.
But that has nothing to do with.
That has
That
nothing to
has
do with
nothing to
it.
do with the point,
yes,
though.
it does.
I don't
No,
understand.
No,
it
it
doesn't
doesn't.
because it
Yes, it
was
does.
who is allowing and continuing the cycle. Yes, you could blame Africans that sold their own. That is fair. That is fair and valid, right? But that
Right.
doesn't take away from the injustice and cruelty of the slave trade going on in America. Does
And
the
yet
fact
again,
that
when the
Africans
vote
sold
went
their own
down,
mitigate the hold on wait let me just ask the question real quick.
go ahead.
Does Africans selling their own to Americans uh absolve Americans of the cruelty that they caused upon the African American slaves?
No, I mean it's like
Well, that's the point then. Saying we're not pointing. Sure, we could point fingers at them. Plenty of
No,
people are
that's the
evil in
problem.
the situation, though.
Time out. Time out. Time out. Time out.
We're not talking about
That
race
is
right
the
now.
problem. Hold on, Johnny, because that is what I'm highlighting is the problem. You're talking about something that involved another total black race that you're not even want to validate that they're even involved in this. And 100%
Wait,
technically
hold on, but I
they're
just did
involved.
though. I just did though.
And if he not hold
Finally.
on, not only did he just do that, but also it didn't talk about slavery in America. They said the transatlantic slave trade. So that means that one party was a part of it, and so was another. That whole gruesome act of throwing people overboard, mistreating them while they're on the ships, all that stuff takes place in it. So we're
Okay,
talking about
so
we're talking about this trade, and
before
we're
you go
not
like
talking that doesn't take away from whomever sold whomever. That includes the party, but at the end of the day, it don't matter if they were white, black, whatever. Was it wrong? Yes or no? Yes, it was.
of course it was.
Like, so let's get race out of this, and let's talk
But
about what you like to
no,
say is the facts.
of course it was wrong, but our argument isn't that it was not wrong. Our argument is it wasn't the most wrongest shit ever in the history of life.
Thank you. That's
There's
what our
wronger, it's
argument.
wronger
Okay.
shit. Like it's
Then
wronger. Go
then
ahead.
let's use your comparison to what's going on in Chicago. In what ways is what's
It's
going on in
it's
Chicago?
worse. It's worse because it's generations of people. Like everybody dying. There's no men, so everything just gonna go downhill from here.
Okay,
Just out
the
the day.
reason why we say that, the reason why it's valid is because I'm going to make the simple point. We came over here on this slave thing, like what he said, at a 13% rate. Bruh, it's over 400 years from now. Okay. We've been free. We done did a lot of things. We have accomplished a lot in America. But guess one thing we cannot accomplish? Growing our population. And that has nothing to do with the white man. That's why it's worse. Because when slavery was happening, we was a growing population. We was doing good. We was marrying each other. We was having babies. We was actually
When
growing our
slavery was
population.
going on?
This brother talking about like slavery was a luxury.
Well,
I mean,
I'm
because
saying
when
this
slavery was
because
going on, you guys were being
no,
bred.
stop. Let me finish and let
Thank you.
me
You were
just
being bred.
iterate some
The
stuff.
strong
The thing,
survive.
the reason why I keep saying that is because of the growth. We are too damn free now not to be growing in a population in America where we're having scholars, basketball players, NB, whatever the hell you want to do, YouTubers, fucking people going to fucking Mars. Dude just became a fucking millionaire by just working with Elon Musk. Stop playing. Opportunities after opportunities after opportunity.
and that's what make it worse.
But that's what makes it worse because when it comes to that short percentage that's not growing, it's because of. So that's fucking way worse
It's
than fucking
basically
slavery.
in any urban city, especially any urban city, whether it's LA, New York, St. Louis, Chicago, Texas, anywhere in Texas,
Because we knocking each other off
it's
by the
black killing black people.
hundreds.
That's what make it worse. Because we can use that
Hundreds.
slavery shit was 400 years ago. We can use that, but it was 400 years ago. Now we free and we been free and we still haven't, you know, grown from, and we still haven't grown. Because now it's black people killing black people. Just the other day in Chicago, 13-year-old boy shot two people.
He's a little low. His microphone's a little low. You can't really hear him.
That's you. Could we hear everybody good? But yet again, the reason why
Yeah.
we keep saying that is there's just so many accounts. Bro, we burnt down our own city, St. Louis, Missouri, over a little kid stealing a cigarello. Over a little kid stealing a cigarello. We burned down a city. We watched black people steal hundreds of millions of dollars out of our own community with our own slogan, Black Lives Matter.
Again, you're bringing up race, brother. We're talking about they're
I'm
not
bringing up
forget the
the
race,
fucking
bro.
community. See,
You're
no,
bringing
you're not
up
gonna
you're
play
bringing
that.
up race, bro.
No, you're not gonna play that. You're not gonna
You're
move the
bringing it up.
goalpost.
We're talking listen. We're talking about was what I from what I remember we were talking about was back then.
The most gruesome.
If you were a slave, rather whatever color, I don't care. If you were a slave back then in America, going through what you're going through, would you rather be living in that time or would you rather be living in this time? When you talk about there's a lot of freedoms that we got. Yeah, we could play basketball, we could be football, we could be doctors. Yeah, we got all that. But back then, you couldn't pursue that. You weren't you couldn't.
That's true.
Okay, that's true, but
So
that's not the worst time in history.
I mean so I'm not saying it's the worst, but it's one of them. Would you
That's
say
what
that?
you. That
You won't even
no.
say it's one of them?
You're moving the
Okay.
goalpost. You
I'm
said
asking
the
you, would
most.
you say that? I'm just asking.
It's definitely one of the
It's
worst
definitely one of
things.
the
Cool.
most.
Okay, all right, cool. And it's
For any
definitely a big difference from what they were going through than what's going on today. Like
Yes,
yeah,
that is
like
yeah.
true.
back then was probably worse for
No,
for slaves in
no.
America than it will be today. So you telling me you would be happy and whatever
I'm not
circumstance you
saying.
would.
Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is now. Back then, it was slavery. We had excuse. It was slavery. We couldn't do nothing.
No, we're
Now
not
it's
talking about the excuse though. We're talking about if you were placed in that situation, just like them.
I will be
Is
thanking
it
God,
worse?
but
Is it worse being in
I
that
don't
situation, or is it
know.
worse living in
See,
America
that's the
now?
problem, and you want that so
I
truthfully, but you know what the honest is? I don't know.
Okay, you can say you don't know, but let's
Hold
go off
on.
of the facts that what people were going through back then, and then let's compare it to today. That's all we try. That's all. That's all we could do. Let's compare the
Hold
worst
on.
of the worst. All right, that's all we could do.
And
Hold
we
on. Hold
use
on. Hold on. I want to
no,
say
no, hold
something.
on, you gotta, you can't because everything he's finna name today is doing it times 10.
No, no, it's not.
What? Let's go.
listen,
Let's go. Let's go. Name 'em.
Let's
You
do
name
it.
one. Let's go.
Okay, let's talk
Name
about
one.
it. Being
Name
forced
one.
to work, and if you don't work the right way, you get a whip to your back.
Being forced to sell drugs or getting shot in the head. Crips and Bloods. Okay, next.
So you telling me that's a reality for
yeah,
every for
Yes.
no 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 no. We're talking about for all. So being forced to sell drugs is a lie, not true.
They were forced to sell drugs. Compton, um, California, Crips and Bloods, or you were shot dead.
So
Like a
we're
dirty
talking
dog in
about
the street.
today, right now. That's what's going on.
Bruh,
Is
you
it
want
is
to.
it yes or no? Is it going on today, right
Yes.
now?
Is
So
there
people
Crips
are
and Bloods
forced.
still in California today? Yes.
I'm
Is they
not
still
saying
selling
there's
drugs to
not,
each
but
other?
you said,
Yes. Is they
but you
still
said
shooting each other today in California? Yes.
yes.
Next.
But what you're doing is bringing up a point in history and trying to mark what's going on today.
You're
Forget
bringing up a
that point
point
in
in
history.
history where you're
We're
trying
talking
to
about
mark.
2 points
So
in
that
history right
again,
now. Hold on. We're
sir,
talking
we
about two
can't go
points
to
in
the
history.
next because I just
Today,
matched that.
we're talking
Sir,
about today. We're not talking about 80 30 40 years ago compared to today. No, we're talking about what happened back then nearly
sir.
400 years ago compared to today. So our Crips and Bloods, right, our people in Compton forced to sell drugs today. Do people have a
Yes.
choice to sell drugs?
Yes.
Do they have? So they got a choice either to do it or
People
don't,
are,
right? They're
sir,
not forced,
today,
right? Yes
sir,
or
sir.
no? Are they
Yes, they
forced?
are being, people are
Wow.
being forced today, 2026, to sell drugs or off with your, yes. I live in reality. Yes. Now, it's amazing how I said, let's go blow for who, for what, for when, and he couldn't get past the first one. And now he's answering the phone. Ladies and gentlemen,
all I know is our whole argument, money. The argument is that today black people are free. Or any slave that was any race that was a slave 400 years ago are free today. Correct? Would you agree with that?
it's like,
Yeah.
I know.
Uh, Here, let me bring some stuff up. So, I think that it's important to note the scale of the transatlantic slave trade. So, between the early 1500s and late 1800s, an estimated 12.5 million Africans were forced onto ships bound for
They weren't
Americans.
forced, they were sold by their own people.
What? That's forced.
That's not forced. If they're doing the same thing in Africa and
the,
they're
You're
owned by
saying
these
that it's not
people.
forced because it was black people
No, man,
selling them?
listen. We can't. We
John,
can't. Mm-mm.
hold on. I got you. I got you. The reason why we be cutting people off like that because black people and I hate to be racial like that and I have to go here, but black people call themselves kings and queens. Okay, you know that's a black thing. They love they.
Okay, but hold on. You're
Hold
not
on, no, no,
arguing
no,
with
no,
one of those
no,
people.
no, no. I got to break this down. I got to break
You
this
don't
down.
gotta break
So
it down, Capiche. We understand. We're just
But no,
arguing
I have to
facts.
break it down because y'all don't get it. Because this is why I'm being so technical of why I say the why I say. Because if we're gonna sit up here and keep calling each other as black people kings and queens, and then we really finna go like, sir, you was once a king, young man. You was once a queen. Well, let's hold us to those standards and what a king and a queen really is. Okay.
Okay, but here's my point. We are talking about what happened to the African American slaves, right?
Okay. So let's
And the
stop. We're gonna
injustices
say
that
that.
happened to those African American
Well,
slaves.
technically, if we want to be technical, they weren't African American; they were African.
So these African people, right? That's true. These African people got sold by.
I'm sorry, that made zero difference to anything I was talking about.
See,
It don't make
see,
no. It don't make no difference.
the
Hold
thing
on,
is,
hold on, hold on, hold on,
listen.
please, just let me continue. We're
The
doing
thing
so
is,
many semantic differences that make zero
thing
differences.
is
Can I
because these
just
are
make my
kings
point?
that selling. These are kings
My
in
question.
Africa
So
that
my
are
question.
Okay,
selling these
I get
people.
that. I get that. You're
Okay.
not arguing with me about that.
Were these people owned by these kings too? If
That's
they're
not what
selling
we're discussing.
ownership of
Hold
this
on,
piece,
hold on. Let me just
becoming
get
this
onto
Let
it
him
Mexican.
because
finish
it's
it. Let him
very
finish.
important to understand the sheer scale of it. 12.5 million Africans were forced onto ships bound to the Americas, right?
No.
That was an injustice done upon the people that were taken to America, right? I'm not saying that
Fabian. Okay.
America put them
Okay.
on
Okay.
ships,
Keep
but
going.
they allowed it to
Keep going.
happen.
Yes, sir. Keep going.
Slavery's legal end came to per shocking late and persisted after the uh, Emancipation Proclamation was signed. We agree that there was a long-lasting effect after the slavery was ended, right?
Okay. So now,
Hold on. There's like,
oh, because I'm finna punch you in the gut. Things that you're leaving out that we forgetting in history. Because,
Please don't bring up race. All right.
bro,
We're talking about
I'm gonna bring up the
hold
13
on.
colonies because when these people were coming over here, these 13 states that were ran by other countries. Can you understand that other countries was over here doing their thug deals for a long time too? Just not fucking fully stamped, but there were other countries over here.
there may were other countries over here, but they made up the 13 colonies at the end of the day, which
And
means they
13
all were one.
colonies and 13 colonies did start off all as one. Because I
Well,
just got hit with a reminder about that along just not too long ago. And I was like, oh damn, that's a some people be forgetting about.
so how many colonies was it then?
It was 13, but they wasn't
All
all the
right then.
same.
So they're all
There was a,
together.
no, there was not.
So how many
Hold
colonies
on.
were there? But you know what?
Hold
Forget
on.
about
Sir,
that.
Wait,
Let's
wait,
you're
get
wait,
not
back to
Johnny,
the
hold
facts.
listening.
on.
Let's
Hold
get back
on,
to
hold
what we
on,
were
hold
That's
talking
not
on.
about.
Hold
irrelevant.
on, because we need to
It's not.
constantly ground what we're arguing. So let me just ground the argument again. Slavery being what I'm trying to argue and trying to have Johnny argue is that it was one of the worst things to happen in world history, right?
It was one, and we can agree with you on that. Yes.
Yeah, that's not like. But we
You
also
see
are
how we
saying.
say yes.
But
You
we
see how we
also
keep saying
are
yes.
saying that logically thinking and just like it's been the worst shit going on.
The same stuff that they were
Okay.
arguing is still happening to this day. So
And
I
what I'm trying to say is he compared it to Chicago. So what I'm trying to do is okay, let's compare it then. You gave your examples of what's going on in Chicago, really bad. Let's describe some things that went on during the transatlantic slave trade.
Can I just name one?
And go
Can I
ahead.
name one more thing that's worse? And
Go ahead.
we all just
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Epstein. The child thing. It's literally the same thing. Somebody going
Okay,
against.
well, maybe we could say that. Maybe we could say that, right?
Equivalent to the
But
same thing, if we're
at
gonna
what
say
scale
equivalent
was
to
the
the same
Epstein thing?
Yeah.
What happened?
I said if we're gonna say equivalent to the same thing, then we would have to say that's true.
It's worse.
I think that it. I guess you could compare it, but I think that there's a big difference in the scale.
Um, the hard facts to deal with is just to understand that yes, slavery was legal at the time. Yes, it was wrong, but was it one of the worst wrong things to do in history of all history since history been chucking along? Hell to the fuck no. That's
Can
a
I bring up
hard pill
something?
to swallow, and I get it.
Hold on, hold
It's a
on.
hard
Can I
pill to
bring up
swallow.
something? What
Go
about
ahead.
the breeding farms? The slave breeding farms?
Slave breeding farms.
Yeah.
When you hear the name breeding, I'm sure there is a particular picture that comes to mind. You were not wrong on that one. During slavery, they used to have what they were calling breeding farms, where they would force some of the most abled men to be breeders. This was a method used in order to gain more workers. I look at some
So
of
what they took some of the strongest, big, strong, big back things, and they made them with certain
essentially,
people to try to. Okay, yeah,
have
that
have you
sounds.
seen things about like dog breeding?
Sir, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like science, just done on humans. Does it sound a little disgusting and disturbing? Sure, but that's what you're trying to do when girls and guys look at each other like, damn, there's a football player right there when I fuck him. That's what a girl thinks. She be like, when I make a baby with that, there's my ticket out the fucking hood.
That is true. Some people do think that way.
So, are you looking
Shit. When
at the breeding
hey,
farms as
I'm
a
not even
good
gonna
thing?
lie to you. If I sit up here and I look at a little Puerto Rican motherfucker walk around, I'm like, damn, I made a baby with that. There's my little baseball. That's my little soccer player. That may sound disgusting, but hell, that's kind of what you think about looking for the future in your sibling. That's what you like hope for. You know, it's like a hope and a wish. But yet again, you're talking about, yeah, these big cocky motherfuckers. Yeah, I want strong workers. I'm not gonna go pick a person that looks like me, scrawny, like, hey, go in there and make me a soccer team.
Capiche,
No.
Capiche, can I say something? This is what you're doing, Capiche. Capiche, this is what you're doing. You're placing yourself in the shoes of the slave owners, right? What you
That's
have
what I
to do,
just
hold on,
did.
hold on, yeah, yeah, yeah. And what you have to do is place yourself in the shoes of a slave, whether that be a woman or a man. How would that make you feel if you were one of those women or men on the farm being forced to have babies with someone that you probably don't love? How would that make you feel, Capiche?
I'm gonna hope it be like that scene in life where that little deaf boy became a star baseball player and got my ass a freedom card. That's how I'm gonna feel, honestly.
Right. Now let's say that option is not available for you, but you're wishing for it to happen. How is that gonna make you feel?
Hey,
To
Capiche, I'm gonna
to
be
die
real. I
with the
don't think
fact
no
that you
slave
would never
owner's
be
breeding
free.
you, bud. I don't think you're that ideal specimen.
Yeah, Capiche, you probably gonna be in the kitchen or something, maybe.
Like a kitchen or something. I don't think so.
Well, I'll take the house nigga. Well, me, I'll take the house nigga.
Hey, anybody would take the house. I'm saying anybody would. What you talking about, man? Come
Be
on.
Yeah.
real, be real. But you know what? While we're being smartasses and talking about slavery and stuff like that, you're not also thinking about those who were free that actually fought, the smart guys that actually got into legislation, into the government to help try to free these guys. Because once again, I'm going to iterate: the government didn't own slaves here in America. That
Did
was
the
a
government
foreign
allow
thing. It was
slaves
a
to be
down
Hold
owned?
south
on.
thing.
Again, we're getting away from the
Yeah,
topic of
yeah.
the
My bad. My
conversation.
bad.
No, we're
My
It
bad.
not. I'm just
it
want to make
being
sure you
the worst
understand that
atrocities in history.
it's atrocity. But when we want to point the finger, a lot of people want to point the finger at like the government. And if you're going to go back then, where the government was very new and America wasn't really established for real, you know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about before America was even established, because that shit happened way before America was like 100% established.
Hold on. Abraham, who was the president that won the Civil War, what president was he?
The 16th?
It took 16 presidents for the abolishment of slavery.
Right. Okay. But yet again, we still have to go back, because yet again, you talk about when it started. It took presidents and the government like, yo, that's wrong. The government didn't have control of all America. What part of it y'all don't want to understand?
Hold on. But it was said that when George Washington, our very first president, a lot of people hail him as one of the greatest presidents ever for good
And he
reason.
had
But
slaves.
his biggest
Yeah.
mistake, well, that too, but also his biggest mistake was not outlawing slavery.
Okay. And do we
And
remember
he
that he
knows
put in
that
his
it was
dying
his one.
will?
I don't.
A lot
That's
of presidents
Yes,
put, I'm gonna finish that. A lot of presidents put in their dying will about how they wish they could, but at that time,
exactly. But it
you know
was
what I'm saying,
unpopular,
they
so they
knew
didn't.
what right. So don't think like okay, it was wrong. I'm not trying to sit up here and like, oh yes, man, I'm thankful for slavery, even though I am.
What?
That's
What?
Listen, y'all, listen, be laughing, be joking. Without that stuff happening, we would not be here right here today. And I'm thankful for everything that happened. I am so sorry to where I'm getting teary eyed for what they had to go through. It's not a game. I'm not treating this like a game.
but let me just say this right quick. This is why I don't really believe the story as they tell us, because if George Washington had slaves, why would I expect him to abolish it? If he had slaves, why would I expect him to abolish it?
That's true. That's a valid point. You know, why would you? So was he the
Here,
best?
well,
Probably no.
let me. I like George Washington. George Washington's kind of a cool guy.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
From what I understand, I don't think that. Here's the thing. I do understand that not every slave owner was like the most gruesome that we hear about in history, right?
Agree.
And
I
I
can
do
agree to
think
that. Yeah.
that and I do think that George Washington wasn't like a gruesome slave owner. Do I think that the act of having slaves itself is evil? Yes, of course. I do think that it's evil that he had slaves. But do I think that he was a super evil slave owner? Maybe. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
But I
Yeah.
don't think so.
See, this is where I keep saying the hard pill to swallow. When you look at something that gruesomely happened, you want to think of the gruesomes. But dang, a lot of things happened. A lot of people went through a struggle trying to say, hey, that's wrong. But we never point, and that's why I think that's what I'll be fighting for. I'm always fighting for, okay, yes, it happened, but don't forget those white people that was like, you know what? You know, There's a lot of people like the movie Life that left things to black people in their will, but they died too early for things to accomplish. Those are sad, tragic things. And I understand where Johnny be like, okay, these things happen. We cannot forget them. Okay. But if America just says, I'm sorry, well, that's the hard thing to do when you're looking at
Who are you apologizing to, and who are you apologizing for? That's the real root of the issue. I'm second generation in America, so my family wasn't here. So that goes to the people who were here before the Africans came here.
Okay, so can we agree that there is
Can we
long-lasting
also
effects
agree
after
that
slavery?
if the Africans sold their people, that they owned their people too? Can we agree on that too? Because how are
I
you
mean,
selling
but that
something?
doesn't. We're not negating that.
If
That's
you
not what
sold
we're.
something, that means that you don't have ownership, but sure, I'll give it to you.
I mean, that can't be necessarily true. They sold them. They left. They had some type
I
of
mean,
right. The
If you
kings
sold something, it means you're relinquishing ownership.
okay, yeah, but
But I'll
before,
give you the point. I'll give you the point.
so the
But
thing is,
back to my question though.
who are we
Do
apologizing
can
to, and who's apologizing? Because I didn't have
hold on.
slaves.
Well, okay, I don't want an apology from you then.
No, I'm
You're second
asking a
generation
question.
whatever, I don't care. All I'm asking is can we agree that there is long-lasting effects that still persist today from slavery?
no.
I
I
believe I
agree.
said
I can agree to that. Yes,
I,
a
I
lot of people
disagree.
are still suffering. I mean, if you could look around and see
of course.
how many people are suffering from what happened,
Who is
yeah, 400 years
okay,
ago. I'm not
sir?
saying it's you. I never
No,
said
no,
it
no,
was
no, no,
you.
no, no. Stop.
I
This
never
is
said it
this
was
is
you.
who.
Mentally,
No,
mentally, a lot of people are suffering.
Johnny, slow
Yeah.
down. Johnny, slow
Go ahead.
down.
My bad,
Slow
mom.
down. Slow down. Answer the one question. What does that suffering look like? Let's go. That's one example at a time. Just give me a small little example. Let's dissect it.
What
You know
does
what I'm
that
Can I
suffer?
give
saying?
Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
example?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh Punishments for running away as a slave?
No, today.
Oh, today.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
I'll
he's
let
talking
Johnny
about like
answer
how
that
are people
question.
today suffering, and
Okay,
I
my
could tell
bad.
you,
That's what
My
he
my
said.
brain fucking I had a brain
you
fart. My
good,
bad.
you good, bro, you good.
Here, I'll
I
let
can
Johnny
say,
answer that question.
hey
Okay.
man, I would say there's a lot of mental health issues, right? Um, that's being that comes from the root of
Example.
slavery. But
Example.
I'm example being afraid or feeling not feeling comfortable around white people. That's one. Some people have that problem. Are you saying that they don't have a valid point because it happened 400 years ago? Does not
I
negate the
don't know
fact
no black people that are afraid to be around white folks.
some that though that you know. Okay, what I mean by afraid
What
is
about
this:
your
they don't
friend
feel
7 days?
comfortable. They don't feel
Huh?
comfortable around white people.
Hold
Even
on,
at
time out.
the
Hold on. Johnny, slow down.
I just shut
What
it
you
up.
say?
I just shut it up.
CEO?
I said, what about your friend 7 days?
What about him?
That boy think white people was made in labs. That man got a mental problem.
Sir, that
Exactly. I think
dude,
that's a perfect highlight
That
hold
comes
of.
from
on.
slavery. That comes
That guy
from
has white friends. He served the white people. So when he huff and puff, I don't believe not a wolf of air that he's saying because I seen this guy in action.
okay. It may not be him, but let's talk about the person that came up with that theory. And what he's not the only one. He's not.
Okay, well then,
There's a lot of people that think that, all
if you're
because of the mistreatment of quote unquote the ancestors.
Who is afraid? Okay, like,
You
okay,
may not think it, but it's because you can't you can't see the lasting effects of it. That's why you can't
have
think
you
of it. You don't
ever
have.
heard,
I want to
sir, have you ever
go ahead.
heard anybody say, I'm afraid to go around? white people.
Okay, have you ever heard anybody say they're uncomfortable around white people?
I have never ever heard
I
that.
haven't heard that, but I think I know people who act like that. I think that's just how they
See,
act.
that's the. I'm like,
Right. You
I'm being.
think right. You think that's just how they act, but it comes from something.
Okay, so my
And
question is because
It's not from being
if we're gonna
retarded.
take it to mental health
no, bro, it come from what happened in history. These are some of
if
the
we're gonna
effects.
if we're gonna take it to a mental health standpoint, I'm a very firm believer on mental health. I'm very advocate for it. So my question is, well, if this is okay, this is the case, then what do the people that are still affected by these things? They need to do some work within themselves. This is called a generational curse, if we want to be technical. And the only way that you can allow that is if you continue to allow yourself to go through that. How can I speak? Because I'm a product of things that I don't have. That's not a generational curse for myself
Okay.
because I didn't get myself out of that. So how do you
So Nay,
fix
I
that?
gotta ask you a question. Nay, I gotta ask you a question.
I'm listening.
If you went to your therapist and you said, "Hey, someone did X, Y, and Z to me, but they never apologized, and they want to act like nothing ever happened in our relationship," what would that individual tell you? What would that counselor or therapist tell you?
You need to work on yourself to get through that. That's nobody else's. No, that person doesn't owe you shit. And that's what a therapist would tell you. You want to know why? Because I've experienced
Have
this.
you been
That person doesn't owe you a lick of nothing. They don't owe you an
So would you
apology.
so would they recommend you going around that person,
You
being affiliated with that person,
you
or
have
would
to
they
do
recommend that?
no. You have to do the work within
Okay, then
yourself.
that's what we're talking about.
It
Thank you.
all starts
All
with
right.
you.
All right. So listen, if they wouldn't
Apology from a
recommend you
person who
being
doesn't
around
matter.
somebody that's dead, any
No
mental health
money.
counselor or
The game he
therapist
can give
will
you isn't gonna
never,
matter.
ever, will
You just
never,
proved
ever,
your own
any
point.
mental, hold on, any mental health therapist will never, ever tell you to be around someone that's detrimental to your mental health. None of
They're
them
going
would.
to tell you to start with
Sir,
yourself and fix the
Yeah, they
problem.
will tell you to start with
excuse
yourself.
me.
They will say that. But
Sir,
they also will tell you probably shouldn't be around that person.
sir.
And that's just the God's honest truth.
Okay, Johnny. Mentally thinking, right? How can I think about going through slavery? Can you answer that simple question? Make it real short,
Again,
not a long
again,
one.
again. It's
Hold
not,
on.
let me answer it.
Okay.
It's not about going through slavery. Black people are not thinking about, hold on, going through slavery. They're thinking about what has happened after it. What has I mean, has America ever said, "Hey, you know what? We're sorry for X, Y, and Z"? No, they're not. I mean, none of that happened. So what I'm stating is they don't feel comfortable in America.
1776.
They don't feel comfortable. It's not about thinking about what they went through.
1776. Johnny.
Go ahead.
Johnny.
Go ahead. Yeah.
1770. No. Uh, what? 1780? 17? No.
You're right. 1776.
No. Is it 1776? 17? No,
I don't
because
know.
it happened like 3 years. 1778, 1779 is when it all actually got signed.
About 250.
But to apologize, when we said you were free, that was our apology as American.
What that
Okay,
say?
that's the same sense as that. So let me come up with a scenario. If you were in a relationship with somebody, any type, they do something wrong to you, and they say, "Well, you know what? Um, listen, go ahead. You know, just you can stay if you want, or you can leave if you want. You know, it's up to you. But but you know, this is where I'm at, and
And
that's
they
it.
chose to stay. So how is that anybody else's fault?
I mean, yeah. So slavery probably was a choice too, then, and probably your logic. But
No, I don't think it was a choice. Now, don't get me wrong, but what I don't understand, and I think it was horrible, but what I don't understand is what apology do you want from people who had nothing to do with it? I can apologize
that's the
to
thing.
your
We're talking
ancestors
about.
for something that my ancestors didn't do, or
We're
you
not
can't
talking about
apologize.
you, man. You got to take
No,
yourself out of
but
it.
that's what you ask.
We're
That's the
not
thing.
talking about you.
But this is more. It's more than me that feel this way. It's not just me
Okay.
that feel this way.
Well,
You
well,
want
y'all
me
got to take yourselves.
to
Well, this is
They
the problem.
can't.
You can't.
You got to
Well, you
look back from
can't.
a.
You can't
You
ask
can't, Johnny,
something
because y'all
from.
put them in because of their
You
race.
can't
You
ask
can't
us to
tell me. I'm
apologize.
right here speaking, and I just told her you can't. This is. I'm trying to tell her what she has to do. For one,
I don't have
you
to do
can't.
anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
That's what I'm
No,
saying. You
because that's the
shouldn't.
thing. You
And
can't
that's what I'm
say it's
saying.
erasure, but
That's what
it's
I'm
erasure.
saying. You don't have, this is what I'm saying. You don't have to do anything. But what you shouldn't do is place yourself in someone else's shoes, right? At the end of
Somebody
the
can
day,
say,
this is
well,
a
I'm
problem
doing
with
it. Okay,
America.
but that's true. That's true. But at the same time, if we're going to say that, then we have to say we all need to stop putting ourselves in other people's shoes because nobody experienced that 400 years ago. It's 2026.
So that's you should have the
Right.
mental
And
stimulation
nobody,
from that.
that is a valid point. That is a
So
valid point.
therefore, hold
But
on. That
go ahead.
means nobody should have a mental stimulation from that.
That's not true. That's not true. That's like saying, hey, because your mom was abused, the kids should not uh go through any type of mental health issue or whatever the case may be. No, that's invalid. Just because
Sir,
it was their
no,
mom
no,
and they
no.
didn't
That's
physically
not what
go
I'm
through it,
saying.
that
Stop,
don't mean
stop.
nothing.
Johnny, that's not what I'm saying.
That is what you're
That's
saying.
no, that's not what I'm saying. Let me break it down what I'm saying so you can hear me understand.
Okay, and my bad for getting all riled up. I'm sorry.
You gotta go back to your great, 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 at least 4 generations. So that means that fifth generation person for you to even touch slavery. Okay, that's that's how far back you got to go for you even to touch it. So there's no way after all them generations, all them babies, everything accomplished, everything that's happened, so much things have played a part in life. You cannot say that we're today in 2026 is affected mental stimulation. I say that verbally because yet again, it has to stimulate from somewhere. You cannot say that because why? Too much generational other things have happened. I'm
That's not
sorry, that's
true. That's not true. Because a person, even if let's say a person does go back, cool. They go back and they figure out that some of their ancestors was. That doesn't negate the fact that somebody else who was looking back on history, who says, "Wow, you know what? I'm African American. I'm African American. Those were Africans, trying to be African Americans. Wow, what has America done to fix that problem?" And when you look at the facts, okay, they did do anything. So now I'm thinking about, dang, well,
that's
you know
where
what?
you lie,
I don't feel
Johnny. That's where
comfortable.
you
Hold on. Let
lie,
me finish. Let me
Johnny. I
finish.
can't
Let me
no because
finish. Let
that's
me
where you
finish.
lie, Johnny.
No, that
Johnny,
they have
no.
a valid they have
They
a valid
don't have a
explanation to say
valid
I don't
point
feel
when you,
comfortable. Yeah, yes, they
Johnny.
do.
No, they don't.
They got a valid one.
You have not named something that's valid that happens today that happened during slavery that we did. What does the
No, we're
white
not.
man do?
That's the problem. You're trying to connect those two. We're off that topic. We're talking about an
No,
individual
the,
who can have
a
a problem in their mind that's rooted from slavery.
boy, that's impossible.
That's not impossible.
That's just like
That's
saying
like so Capiche. So
that's like
Capiche.
saying a
Let's
kid from
say this.
slavery
So
died and
Capiche.
woke up in 2026.
So Capiche. Let's say this. Let's say this. If let's say you look back, right, and you see some of the patriarchs in history. You telling me you can't draw from none of them patriarchs and say, well, you know what? Dang, man, that inspired me to want to do X, Y, and Z. Man, I look back on da 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 da, and that inspired me to do X, Y, and Z. The same thing can happen to an individual, and they look back and they say, "Dang, wow, they've been through da 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 da. Man, that's crazy," and nothing ever happened. Man, I don't know how I should feel about that. That same thing can
The
happen.
problem is when you say
I'm
nothing
not saying
never.
if we're not saying if it's right or wrong. That's not the thing. We're saying is it
Yes, it
possible to
is.
happen?
Hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
We're not I'm
Is
not talking
anybody
about
listening
right or
to me?
wrong.
You say wrong. Every time you say, I look at the past, I see that something wrong happened,
We
and
don't
then I
disagree
look
that it's
today,
wrong.
and then you say nothing happened. They did nothing for what happened back way back then. If you say they didn't do nothing technically, you're technically lying to yourself and saying America did absolutely nothing. America did nothing for the point that it used to be slaves here in America. Listen to what you're saying. Please say it slow in your head. America
Hold on, is
once
that
had
what Johnny's
something
saying?
wrong, abolished it, got rid of it, and you're trying to say they did nothing.
Okay.
That
And
does
then what
wait.
happened after that, Capiche?
Hold on.
Was
Let me
everything
describe the
kumbaya?
concept.
No.
Hold on, let me describe the concept. If someone if someone rapes your wife and then has your wife in a fucking rape sex dungeon or something, and then he's like, "Oh, my bad, I'll let her go,"
Okay.
and the wife is free, is there something? Is that guy good and just off the hook
Okay.
after having that girl in the
After
rape
after
sex
you just
dungeon?
saying all that, what does 4 generations down the road have to do with this incident?
Okay, that's like saying if your great 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 grandfather was Jesse Owens, you telling me that's not gonna have no inspiration on you? You a lie. If you can look back for
Hold
the
on,
good, you can also look back for the
Okay,
bad, and
look,
some
look.
people do that.
hold on, Johnny.
Dog,
I think
what
the point should
mentally
be.
stimulation do Jesse Jackson would have on me today?
Hold on,
What
Johnny.
does he
I
go
think
ahead?
that the point should just be that Johnny is trying to make is the fact that we let the girl out of the rape sex dungeon and just nothing was done about it.
Okay, when you say that, and I'm agree with you, but my main question, because this is the focus, this is the gut punches. 4 generations down the road, what do they got to do with the 2 little boys and girls that came from that family? What do
It's a
they got?
fact. It's a fact that where they came from,
Can you
it
answer
wasn't ideal.
what do you think America could do to apologize 400 years later? I just want to understand where this mindset is because to me,
600 years later.
whatever, fuck them all.
You're only 250
I
years
think it was a
old.
horrible thing. I was raised by a black woman, so anybody who knows me knows I was raised.
No, it was only like 200 and something years later,
What are we
Capiche.
supposed?
250.
What is
Get it right.
America supposed to do in 2026? Give people money? We just got stimulus check. I don't understand what money and an apology have to do with each other.
Well,
Apology already
it's
been
like the same thing of this. If someone, if it's like for me personally, if someone do something wrong to me and they apologize or do something special for me, I would be like, yo, man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? That
They
would make
didn't do
that.
nothing to you
Hold on.
though.
What that would do for me is wipe is it may not wipe away the distrust or the building of what we got to do better in the future, but it is a starting point. It's
It
like,
also
wow, you're showing that you are that you're showing that
What was
you're that you made a mistake. You're showing that
okay?
it
What
was
was getting
wrong.
what was getting rid of slavery then? What was getting rid of Jim Crow then? What was those steps? What was that saying?
It's like what he just said. It's basically saying, "Oh,
No, no.
my bad.
What is
You're
that
free now."
saying? Oh, so
It doesn't say like, "Yo." I'm just not realizing we were stupid as ever for doing da 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 da. You know what? That probably made them feel like this, that, and the third. It's about having empathy. This is
They
what a lot of
freed
people lack.
us.
It has to do with empathy, bro. It
Johnny,
has
they
everything to do
freed
with being
us.
empathetic and putting yourselves in the shoes
You
of
just told us.
someone
You
else.
just told us to get our feet out of the shoes. I'm
No,
confused.
well, because when if you're gonna put yourself in those shoes,
I'm
then
putting
you gotta
myself in
be
them
able. Then
shoes.
you gotta be able to walk in them too. And sometimes
Sir,
some people can't walk in them. So yeah, you need to
sir,
get your feet out them shoes because you
yet
can't
again,
understand the
we
severity of
freed
what they
you.
had to go
We
through.
got rid of Jim Crow acts. We gave you a holiday. We gave you a black president. Damn. We gave you the best shoe game ever.
Really, those were gifts.
What?
That's what you call a gift.
Sir, the white man
Yo,
could have get sir,
brother. Not even
sir.
everybody got access to that kind of stuff. But we're not
To
even going to talk
Jordan,
about that. We're not even going to discuss
Jordans,
that. What we're
Jordan,
talking about is how can
sir.
someone apologize, and
Ooh,
they didn't. America didn't
sir.
apologize.
Jordans.
But in 2026,
That's not an apology.
That's not an apology. Everybody can wear Jordans.
So,
Hold on,
Capiz, let
hold
me
on. I
ask you
want
a
to hear what
question.
Nene has to say.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on.
My
What
bad.
does
My
Nene
bad.
have to
but in
say?
2026, none of us lived there. None of us were there. So I'm still trying to understand what are we supposed to do when none of us were there. None of us had slaves. You weren't a slave. Thank God. It was horrible. But what I'm trying to get is none of us were there. We can only attempt to put ourselves in the shoes and still not understand. Right? So you can have your grandmother, great grandmother tell you stories, but at the end of the day, none of us truly understand because we didn't live in that era.
Yeah, and you know what that's called? That's called relativism. It means if it's not relative to you, you can't
It's not relative to
what I'm
anybody.
saying
It's
is
the
this.
same
Hold on,
thing.
let me finish. What I'm saying
You're
is you can't muster up the empathy to be able to put yourself in that predicament and say, "Man, if I was one of them and I'm going through history at each and every individual that's gone through each and every stage of the history of the mistreatment of people to where we are now, you would say, darn man, I would probably feel bad for them. Especially if nobody ever said nothing. We're talking about when Ruby Bridges was trying to going to school with white people. We're talking about black people getting rocks thrown at them. You know, getting chased in neighborhoods, telling that they can't be in certain neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Even little stuff like that happened only
They
about
opened up
50,
their
60 years
neighborhoods
ago.
to
But at
us.
the end of the day,
Johnny,
it
Johnny,
comes down to a matter of putting
Johnny,
yourself in those
Johnny.
shoes.
Didn't they open up their neighborhoods to us?
Did they? But you got to ask this question: Did them people ever apologize to say, "Yo, my bad,
Yes.
we did that"? Wow, really?
Yes, Johnny. That's the problem that you don't want to accept. It's like y'all don't want to accept an apology because you don't see a Hallmark card.
That's not an apology.
What is apology is saying I'm sorry for slaving you. You're free now. Apology is I'm sorry for these Jim Crow laws. We're going to abolish them. A sorry is I'm sorry for cracking the streets. We're gonna make the three-strike rule so we can get some of these gangbangers out your neighborhood. Those are apologies.
That's not apologies, bro. Apologies are saying, "Yo, what we did was wrong."
And
Here,
we make a law about it. That's American way, a law. So you can see that in law, this was written for what reason? Because of this place of history happened.
now I gotta ask you a question then. So what happened to almost every group of people that gone through something that was wrong? The Holocaust. They got reparations. And showing that, hey, you know what, this was bad. You shouldn't have gone through that. The people that were in what's that well, even them, I don't even think they got anything for what they gone through. But the Chinese
hold
people,
on.
a lot of people gotten things.
Hold on. I got the perfect solution for reparations. We need to create a state kind of like Israel and give black people their own state.
I'm not moving.
They had Black Wall Street. We're forgetting about everything that black people have had.
And they rebuild
What
it.
my solution is throw them in the Middle East and give them half of Palestine. It could be Israel and a black nation state. Get rid of all the Palestinians, and that's the reparations, just like
Bro, you cannot
what we did with the
move.
Holocaust.
You can't Americanize people and throw them in a whole nother country and give them land.
That's the point that I'm trying to make with Israel. That's the joke. Because that was the reparations with the Holocaust. Was, they get their little nation out there in the Middle East.
Well, they know how to survive out there. You talking about now, 2026, giving a bunch of us a land out there when the war just somewhat calmed down.
Right.
Like we don't even have an army, navy, nothing. That just sounds
What?
ridiculous.
Neither did Israel.
Did past tense. You throw us out there, somebody's just gonna capture us and enslave us. Oh, free.
Enslave us? No.
Hold on, that's
Freedom.
what happened with Israel.
Man, is you gonna get everybody a chopper and then half them niggas are scared of guns? I'm not going. I'm not
Holy
going.
shit, there's two Johnnies.
Like sometimes when y'all be thinking of stuff like that, it's just like I see if you like gave them.
Hold on, but that's literally what happened with Israel, though. You telling me we
give them
can't
land over here in
throw out the
America.
Palestinians and put
They have
African Americans in there?
America.
I know they buying. I know they doing. They buying up their own land. They got their own people segregated away from white folks. I don't know why we all just don't go down there to Atlanta and just fuck it. Just like
Or
they're
you guys
doing.
could
It.
have Atlanta.
I mean, yeah, they can have Atlanta. I'm not going. I got black people phobia. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Me too. I'm scared of them.
This is so funny. This is why I don't tell people I have black friends, because these are the black friends that I got.
Why? Because we not real. Because we're not real niggas.
Oh me.
I don't agree
No,
with that. I don't agree with
just
that.
I hate black people. It's like, oh, this is the black friends you got.
Man, look, I can't stand them niggas, man.
I understood a long time ago that what I wanted to accomplish in life, I couldn't do by marching. I can't do it by none of that. If I want something to happen, it's gonna go by voting. I gotta vote for things that I believe in, and such like. I understand there's gonna be times that I lose, and you know what? And I gotta still keep my faith and vote in what I believe in, not change the faith or pick the lesser of the evil. You see what I'm saying? Like stuff like that is ridiculous.
Then we should create Atlanta. Atlanta is Atlantis. You guys see that? No.
No.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, if that's the case,
I gotta go find this video. I'm gonna share it in the group.
they need to. I mean, they need
Oh,
to
you gotta look up Atlanta is Atlantis. It's the funniest thing in the world.
That's wrong. But what's crazy is Johnny be like, I just want y'all to like, man, we think that's sad. We know that was sad.
Yeah.
But what the problem I be having with black people is when they say nothing, they did nothing.
What do you want? I mean, it's 2026. What do you want me?
And then when I give him the facts of things that they did, he be like, no. So he set up.
Well, this is a problem because segregation, all that shit ended in what, the 60s or 50s, right? That wasn't even 100 years ago. There's people, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, they all grew up around that time. These people are still alive.
No, they did
It,
not.
what? Yes, they did.
No, they did not.
Donald
Them,
Trump
them are
was
my
born in the
parents.
40s.
Those are my parents. I talk to my mom every day. Well, every other day.
What are you denying?
You talked, but
Huh?
What are we denying right now? That people
Man,
weren't
my
alive?
mama is older than Barack Obama.
I would.
Okay?
I didn't say Barack Obama. I said Donald Trump and Joe Biden
Talking about the
and
white
Bill
people.
Clinton.
Okay, my mama ain't older than that. I had to think, hold on. We did the math. Nah, my mama ain't older than the old sleeping Joe.
No, but my point is like the stuff like segregation and Jim Crow laws and shit like that was like there's people still alive today that grew up around times like
and
that.
they're
And
awfully upset with people saying the shit that was being said. I just seen a man say, "My daddy was around during Jim Crow," and you guys comparing what's going on now and what happened then is appalling and disgusting, and it's giving them
oh no,
PTSD.
don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think if we're comparing shit that's going on today to like
It's affecting
Jim
these
Crow
people that people were
segregation.
speaking about. They don't
Well,
like it. It's
Well, I
affecting them.
agree.
sir,
I agree.
sir,
People have really retarded.
anytime that we're gonna have a case where you have a Carmelo Anthony case that goes on, this is why this is brought up. Because all of a sudden, out the blue, now the white man bad.
And the thing about the Carmelo Anthony thing? I've never heard about it because it's literally only retards that talk about the Carmelo Anthony thing. It's
And
a
you know what?
very
And
small
that's
group
what
of uninformed people that.
and you know what? And another dude just said that on Twitter. He said, only really people that's keeping this up are the slow because no real true
It's
race
disgusting.
hustlers actually got involved. That's why I just sat back and just listened. But in the conversation, it's the deeper conversation that I be listening for. It's just that the black people are waking up, talking to each other, saying that we got to start being more accountable for ourselves in action and quit blaming everything on the white man. And
Now, can I
that's
say
the
something?
conversation that I be looking for,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that I'm starting to hear more and more in these little streets. Go ahead, Johnny.
Now that is true. They do, but it's always a means of method, right? People can speak the truth all they want, but it's about how are we going to go about this, right? And the fact of the matter is the reason why people are making it a race thing, right, or whatever the case may be, black against America, whatever, is because of the lack of um, empathy that America has had on the history of blacks. So what does that do? It makes them think about the worst times, and when they think about the worst times, they mixing them up with this times, and that's why you get that.
But a
You
lot of
know,
white people don't have lack of empathy.
No, he's just
So
describing like the
I know,
reason why
but
there's this retarded
to say
sentiment
that
around the Carmelo.
but you can't say that and say that a lot of people when we have these riots and no kings and everybody showing up together. There's no lack of empathy, and I don't support none of that garbage. But let's just be real and honest about it. Is at the end of the day, there's empathy, but when is it going to be seen? When George Floyd happened, my city was destroyed. Straight up. We was all out there together. So where is the lack of empathy?
what I'm saying, a lack of empathy for what happened throughout history. There is a lack of empathy from America on on African Americans. And you want to know why you see it? It's because when you get votes as to the transatlantic slave trade being one of the most gruesome acts in history, they vote no. It's not one of them. So yeah, that's a lack of
But
empathy.
we're talking about 100 and how many countries, whatever that was,
193 countries.
Yeah, but at the end of
100
the day,
countries.
it
You're
doesn't. At
asking,
the end of the day, that doesn't erase a person's
but John, I have a
history.
question. How are you gonna,
Like,
how are
like,
you
Right.
like
gonna tell
that
me?
It's
doesn't
the,
erase a person's history. And
yeah,
that's
and you're trying to, and you're expecting America to say this. Hey, the most worst thing in the world,
one of.
one of the most tragic thing in the world we did and we was a part of, and it helped build America to the freedom that these black people had today.
Yeah, because it's not about me. It's about what they went through. What they went through was bad.
It
Period.
was disgusting. Absolutely.
Nobody's
Yeah,
denying it,
and
but
and,
that's
and
how they,
America has, and what America did, they voted that it wasn't. So
because
yes,
tonight is
America
not the
has a lack
way,
of empathy.
because maybe it's not that, it's just that you can't get mad or disgusted or disappointed because they don't think it's the worst thing that ever happened.
One of is one of. Stop saying the one
Go with
of.
the question that is being
One of,
said. One of. If the question is one of, then you have to say one of. Then you have to.
okay, yet again, they don't think it's one of the most prejudiced things that ever happened in history. They have a lot
Right.
of other
So
things
that's a
that,
lack of empathy. It's a lack of empathy
but if they can
coming
name
from
other,
those that represent America.
I wouldn't say it is if I. That's how I build America. Like that's no.
Right.
That
Even
makes
you have a
sense.
lack of empathy, and I get it.
I have a lack of nothing. I like the truth. You
You
don't want to
just
swallow the
said
pill
no.
of
You just
truth.
said what you're basically saying is, hey, my ancestors had to go through that for me to get here. You know what I'm saying? I thank them for what all the hard work, all the mistreatment that they gone through for me to get to where I'm at. And America doesn't have to acknowledge how they treated them because I'm free now.
That is not what I said, because I gave you the times and dates and stamped them for you where they have showed gratitude and appreciation back towards us.
So
You the
why
one
didn't they do
expected.
that when it came to this vote today? Not today, but in history of today, when it was brought up to be one of the most gruesome acts, one of, I didn't say the, they voted no. So no, they
Because it's
haven't done
not.
anything. If anything, they erased everything that they've done.
How
They've
they
erased
erased
all the
it.
good that they even did to say that it wasn't.
Can you go into details of what you mean? How they erase it now?
Well, that's like me saying, yo, Capiche, that's like that's like me. That's like me. I'm gonna use
Can you just
monies.
answer the question?
I'm about to answer it. I'm about to
How?
show you how. Can you
No,
wait?
you
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 got
finna give me a scenario. Tell me
what
how America's erasing the history,
of the good that they did?
good, bad, of like what is they erasing?
They're erasing the good. They're erasing how they had to make black people equal. And if it was something that they actually wanted to do, rather than something they just said, well, you know what? It is what it is. Let's just, you know what I'm saying? For them to
No, I
basically
don't
say,
know what
hold on,
you're
let me say
saying.
this.
Quit saying that.
America, you want to
Mhm.
know how they're saying it? Because they voted that it wasn't one of the most gruesome acts.
But have they done things to free the black people in America?
That doesn't mean anything. If they
You
had to
don't
do that,
answer the damn question. Why is it so hard for you to answer? When you ask me a question to answer, I answer them straightforward, however you ask them. But when I ask you a question, you beat around the mulberry bush. You want to put the goalpost so far left, so far right, so far east, so far west. Quit moving that goalpost. Leave that goalpost right there and let's shoot hoops.
so where's
Okay?
the goalpost then? Where's the goalpost?
The
Where-
goalpost is slavery happened in America. Yeah. Did
Right.
America
What I'm
apologize
saying
for it?
that's not what I'm
What?
saying. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is that's not what I'm saying, Capice.
Picking up the
What I'm saying
goalpost.
is this. What I'm saying
Picking,
is
picking
because
it up.
America voted to that slavery wasn't one of the most gruesome acts in history, or was a gruesome act in history, whatever you want to say,
Who
because
is
they voted that.
America? Who did this vote? Because I never got this vote on my
I
desk.
know. Look it up. You could look it up. You could look it up right now. Go ahead, money. Money. Look it up, please. Look this
Who
up,
Why
is
did
money.
I get
speaking
thrown
for
into
all of
this?
America?
What am I
Yeah,
looking
the
up?
people that represent America and the UN, they voted that slavery wasn't one of the most gruesome acts in history. That's what
What
they
year was
recently
this?
just voted.
That'd have been Trump. That'd been either Trump or Biden. Them the last two presidents.
Okay. UN General Assembly passed a resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade to be the gravest crime against humanity, with 123 votes in favor, 3 against, and 52 abstentions. Abstentions. What the fuck? Okay.
Probably
Let me
weren't
read a
there
little
or
bit more.
something.
Yeah. On March 25th, 2026, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution recognizing the trafficking of enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity. The resolution, spearheaded by Ghana on behalf of the African group, also called for discussions on reparatory justice, including formal apologies, resolution of looted cultural artifacts, okay, and
Artifacts
measures
that
to
were
address
stolen.
measures to address systemic inequities stemming from slavery and colonialism. Vote breakdown: in favor, 123 countries, most African, Caribbean, and Latin American nations, along with countries like China, India, Brazil, and Russia. Against 3 countries, United
Of
States,
course,
Israel, and
America ain't
Argentina.
more debt. These motherfuckers already owe us some more money. No
The
fuck.
U.S. opposed the resolution, citing that slavery was not illegal under international law at the time, and rejected the creation of a hierarchy among crimes against humanity.
So they didn't say it was not the worst thing. It just said it wasn't illegal at the
Because
time.
that's the main thing. It wasn't legal, and yet again, there was higher other problems and things going on around the world worse than that.
Yeah, but this is also kind of like, kind of running away from having to acknowledge that, it was pretty bad. It's kind of flimsy reason of not
It was
acknowledging
pretty
it.
bad, but we need to go back 400 years ago and have the people who actually were a part of it apologize.
Okay,
Again, a
we got
lack
a
of
time
empathy
machine.
from there.
It's not lack of empathy. It's
That
just
is.
you want people to apologize for something we have no parts in.
So
I ain't never owned a slave, nor would I. I think it's disgusting.
the absent countries, which I think is interesting, there were 52 absent countries, included all 27 European Union nations, the United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, Australia, and several others. So I guess it's every NATO country was absent from this vote.
Shit, at least we had the balls to vote. Look at
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about
Okay.
America's stance, right? This America's stance on it.
Hold on, hold
And
on,
this,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
The reason why I think that is interesting is because they're part of NATO, and if America is voting no, I don't think that other countries that are part of NATO want to piss off America right now when our relationships are this shaky at the moment.
Hmm.
They probably ain't want to be there. They like, yo, we gonna call off today. They talk about some, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, we gonna sit this one out. All right.
Boy,
Yeah.
I'm
Canada
just,
wasn't
it was
third.
just, it's just a
Canada
joke. It's
wasn't
just a
third.
joke.
I was
Yeah,
say
Canada's
Canada
part of
wasn't
NATO.
third.
Yeah, Canada's part of NATO.
I'm just letting them know, like Canada was not there. They did not sit
I
down.
didn't
They,
say Canada. I said some of the people from NATO probably called off because they was like, man, I ain't trying to get into this.
I'm gonna
You
be
know.
boy this.
But at the end of the day, it's a matter of acknowledging the act that happened throughout history, not necessarily blaming people. It's just a matter of acknowledging, hey, yo, you know what? That was wrong. Yo, they should get this. We're not talking about,
Should get what?
was
I
I a
think it's
part of it or
very
was I not?
fucked
We
up.
saying like, yo,
My
They
bad. I think it's very fucked
technically,
up when China
hey,
and Russia could
technically,
vote yes
everybody
on it.
there acknowledged that it did happen. If you, for real, be honest.
acknowledge their part. They're basically saying like they're not acknowledging their part. That's the thing. So yes, it does
Not,
erase
not see.
what
Y'all
they
see
have
that?
done.
Y'all see that goalpost
Huh?
just move? How you just gonna move the goalpost when everybody there acknowledged that it happened?
Now you want them to acknowledge their part.
Now,
Right, except the US. The US acknowledged that it was not, one of the most gruesome acts.
but
They
they
don't
did
acknowledge that.
not, sir. But what they did not do it is
No, they
acknowledge
didn't.
that it did. Sir, listen, because you didn't let me finish.
No.
They acknowledged
Go
that
ahead.
it did happen. Yes, they did. Okay, that's one thing you
I never
cannot
said they
deny.
didn't. I never said they didn't.
You, just,
I
okay,
said they did not acknowledge the fact that it was one of the most gruesome acts in history.
no, they
Why?
did not.
Because
But they
they're not
did
on board.
because they said it was
Yes, they
illegal.
did. They acknowledged that it wasn't.
Right, because it was
Yeah, they
illegal.
said well, it wasn't technically. Right. So let me ask you a question. If it's legal for me to rape someone's wife, am I just gonna do it? Cool. Yeah, it's legal. I could do it. So you know what? 5 years later, when it's illegal, I'm not wrong for doing it. I don't have to go back and say, yo, my bad. I didn't know it was wrong. I don't gotta do none of that. I can just say, well, it was legal at the time, so I could do it. What do you? That's like a spit in the face, bro.
That's not a spit
That's a
in the
spit in the
face.
face.
That's not a
It
Johnny.
definitely is.
Johnny,
Oh wow.
when something's legal and illegal, it makes a huge difference whether you like it or not.
So Capiche, you telling
That's
me?
a hard pill to
So
swallow.
you
I
telling me,
get it.
Capiche, if raping a woman, if raping a woman,
That
if
y'all
raping a
go to
woman was
the
legal, would you
worst
do
of,
it?
All the
bruh.
time.
I'm just asking.
Yes.
Every time.
I'ma
You
have
would
to
do it?
say, I'ma have to say, if it was legal, it's legal.
So you would do it if it's legal.
Burn.
You, bruh, get the
That's
fuck out
crazy.
of here.
Just because something was not acknowledged as wrong, that does not
If
give you
it's
the right to go
legal,
ahead and do it.
bruh,
That
if it's
don't
legal, it's legal.
give you the right to do it. Just because, hey,
Yes, it
know what?
does
That's like
give
saying,
you the
hey,
right
nobody
to.
said it's wrong for
It
me to do it, so I could
100%
do it.
gives you, Johnny. That's where you're wrong, and I hate to be an asshole, but yes, if rape is legal, anybody can do it because it's legal.
Doesn't mean you should do it. It should.
It doesn't
Thank you.
matter.
That
I'm
doesn't mean you should.
sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
We
I
all
don't
That's what I'm
disagree
care.
on that though.
But
saying.
and
That
this is
doesn't mean
me
you should
being
do it just because it's not
this is
illegal.
how Johnny, and this is how America's looking at it. I don't care. The simple fact is it was illegal. Can you say yes or no? Was it legal? You're gonna have to shake your head up and down.
Rule.
You do
Let me
it
say
is.
this.
So you can
Let me
acknowledge that.
ask you a
Ooh,
question. Was the Bible
no.
around? Let me ask you a question. Was the Bible around at this time?
Yes.
Okay. Does the Bible talk about how you should treat slaves?
Yes.
Does it? Yes. Does it? Does it also?
Yes.
Does the Bible condone the mistreatment of slavery?
No.
All right then. So it was wrong at the end of the day. So forget about what was legal and
if I
I
don't care what was legal.
no,
We
I
talking about
cannot.
so-called Christians
I
coming over here. Hold
cannot.
on. We talking about so-called Christians. Yes, you can.
No,
Because
I
if they live by the
cannot.
Bible, hold them to it.
But our Bible
So
also
so
says our Bible also says
so
we have to
America
follow
was not founded on biblical
the
principle.
Bible also says we have to follow the law of the land. We can't pick and
Yeah, and
choose when the
also, and
Bible says that.
Paul also said, just because it's lawful, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it.
That is true. Okay.
Paul
But
also
yet
said that.
again, a country chose to use the law in their favor to help build their country.
So was America built on biblical principles? Yes or no? Because if it was, you can't say it was. If they condone this, you just can't. If they
I
condone
can.
this and you
You
say
know
that yes,
why?
no, you can't. No, you
Sir,
can't.
sir, I can.
Tell me how if they condone slavery
Because they abandoned
and the, come on,
slavery.
tell me how.
They abandoned slavery.
When
It's not,
after oh
sir, sir,
that's
like
like me stealing from somebody.
Johnny,
That's just like me stealing from
Johnny,
somebody and saying, well, you know what?
Johnny,
I stole
Johnny,
from
Johnny,
them. I made 100 mil, but guess what?
Johnny,
I
calm
know I'm
down.
wrong, but hey, I don't gotta
Johnny,
acknowledge it though.
no, that's not the
All right, I'm gonna
same.
calm down. My bad. I'm gonna calm down.
You
Hey
know
guys,
why it's not the same? Because you never want to say something legal that happened that somebody did. Hold on, because you probably got something, but it's not you the one that's arguing this argument.
Come on.
And every time he argued the way he argued, he's always wrong for the simple fact that it was that
I'm
makes
gonna say
a
this.
It
big
don't matter if
difference.
you're a Christian. If you were a Christian at that time, and so-called Christians came over here and did this, that was not right because the Bible does not condone it.
You're right. It
And
was
guess
not
what?
right.
The full Bible was printed and everything about that. And if they did that, that was not right. And if we're gonna say that America was founded on biblical principles and X, Y, and Z, and we're gonna stand on it, that's not right. As a Christian, looking at
As a
it, it's
Christian,
not right.
that's not right. As
Period.
a country, was it legal? That's a difference.
Was Christians running the country? Yes or no?
No,
Wow. Okay. Okay. You know what? All right. Um. All
bruh,
right.
sir. The reason why I say that, and I know this is yet again another
That's
hard
so
pill to
crazy.
swallow. At them times,
They
he
were.
they were
So
not.
quote unquote Christians were. Yes, they were.
They were not running the country
But that's the
at
thing.
them
You
times.
can't call them
It was
that because of
more.
what they did.
It was more of
You
a
can't.
Catholics was running. Get it, Snow. It was a
Yeah. And at the
Catholics.
time, that was what it was.
Catholics was running the country at that
At
time.
that time, that's what it was. Yes. Christians, Catholic, whatever you want to put a name on it. At the end of the day, it was so-called them.
No, sir. If
Rather it
we're
was
gonna,
them or the Orthodox
sir,
Church, whomever.
no, that's a
It
difference
don't
when you're
matter.
gonna. How it don't matter when you
So
bring up
when did
certain subject.
Protestantism come out? I'm sorry. Do you know when? So do you know when the Protestant Reformation happened?
No,
Okay, look up when the Protestant Reformation happened
I hate to do this to you.
because it didn't happen until after
And
slavery.
What he said? The what?
say it again, Johnny. Ladies and gentlemen, I just are we not going to look at the facts of life? And then Johnny looked at the facts, and I looked at the facts with him. And the facts are the facts. The facts are maybe wrongful facts because you know what I'm saying. Or let me phrase this: hurtful facts because it truthfully happened. Yes. Was it wrong? Yes. But was it legal? Yes. So was it allowed to do amongst other countries? Yes. do you expect a country to what build themselves off of it to say, hey, yeah, it's 100%, no, that's kind of a no. Because then I got to turn around and say, here, and where I'm going to get this money from. I'm just going to magically give you what? What logically going to make sense without starting a small civil war. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over. You're going to start a small civil war. And if you start a small civil war, please let me be Big Daddy. And with that, I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Anytime that you're watching this, I appreciate you guys watching this. Until next time, finally say good night, Kapeash.
This motherfucker is locked.
Talking, I'm in love, baby.